Welcome back. This is a follow-up on my last video where you saw me build this set. This is LEGO's Marvel Superheroes set number 76057, Spider-Man Web Warriors Ultimate Bridge Battle. Hopefully I got that right. If you haven't watched my video on that, it'll be popping up here so you can watch it at your leisure. But I wanted to recreate this set because my son's actually been playing with it all week and destroying it. So I rebuilt it, and I wanted to make a follow-up video here where I do a tutorial video on one specific element of this set that I really love, and it is this LEGO taxi cab. As much as I'd like it to be, this is not my own creation. This is actually just a small element to a 1,000+ piece set that you saw there. But I think by itself, this could be a LEGO set. I think the idea of building a LEGO taxi is something that people would like to do. And maybe seeing the build for this one will give you some inspiration so you can build this on your own. Or at the very least, if you don't have all the pieces for this, it'll at least give you some ideas on how you can build something that's very similar to this using what you do have. To build this, I have to tear it apart, which I know sounds counterproductive, but I'll lay all the pieces out so you can see what's included here. You can pause the video now if you want to grab everything. But again, don't let the fact that you don't have some of these specialized pieces like this roof piece, for example, don't let that hold you back from building this. You can substitute some pieces into this and make something that's completely your own. On that note, we will get building. If you're curious how many steps this is, I do have the instruction manual out here. I wish I had this memorized, but I don't. And if we go down to the very last page of this, it is a total of 15 steps, and we're going to take our time with this and build it in real time so you can follow along with me. And the reason that I'm doing this in real time is because, again, I think people like to follow along, and I've done them before where I've done tutorials and I've done all the steps in rapid succession, and you just end up having to pause the video for long amounts of time to try to keep up with it. So this, I think, will work out a little bit better. And I just noticed one thing. This is actually a piece that should have been taken off. So that is actually step 2, and we'll just pretend that we put those on there. So that's what you're starting out with there, and this piece right here is one solid piece all by itself. So now we'll move on to step 3, which is putting the wheel wells over where the tires would go. And again, I don't know the pieces and what they're called exactly, so you can just follow along and we'll get this all right together. So that's where we're at now. And we're going to put the steering wheel in. Steering wheel piece, I would consider that a specialty piece, but I think if you've built any LEGO vehicles before, you probably have that. Here's the side pieces, and these already have decals on them that say taxi, which I think makes this a little more authentic. Again, if you don't have this set, you're probably not going to have that, and hopefully if you do, you can put your decals on a little straighter. That's why I try to avoid doing decals, is because I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to putting them on, and it just never goes right. And in this case, both of them are kind of not even. But again, what can you do? It's not a huge deal. Believe it or not, we are on step 6 right now, where we're just kind of filling out the body of the car. We got the one and only brown piece going on the back here, and that is actually brown for a reason. It's so you can see it in the back window. It kind of is like the interior or luggage area, I suppose. So we're building onto the back. Here's a piece. This is for the back end of the car. And this is kind of interesting the way the back end of this is built, and you'll see that here in just a minute. That's going to go on there. You would think the taillights go on there, but it's not. That's actually a build for the trunk area, which I'll be doing right now. Okay, so the trunk itself is really cool. Let's check this out. We're going to put this here like that. And the whole way that you're building this, it's kind of interesting because it kind of changes. You're building it on this plane right here. By plane, I don't mean airplane. I mean it like plane as in a dimension. And then when we're going to next this is actually a sub build, and this has 6 steps to it. This is all considered, I guess, a part of step 7. So we've got that, and I'll get a little closer so you can see how that's looking. And then we are going to put this right there, and we're actually building the very tail end of the car. So there's the tail lights. And then we got this piece. See, right now you're thinking, okay, that's going to go on the back of the car, just like this. But watch this. You're like, where'd the taillights go? Like that. And then we're just going to snap that on to the back of the car. So you see how that makes it shrunk? And I love the way that turned out. I really wouldn't have thought of something like that. I would have done something where I put the taillights on the back like we were talking about there. But when you put it like that, you got this nice flat back here. You got a place for the back windshield, which works out well. And that looks really good. I love it. So now we are moving on. That was actually step 8. Now we're moving on to step 9, which is going to be kind of similar. We're doing something like that on the front end. Not quite as advanced as that. But we're going to take this piece and we're going to put both of these on here like this. And then under that, we're gonna go like that. So just so if you're following along, that's what we got going on. And now we're gonna do the headlights. And these are the clear ones. I know growing up I always used the yellow and a lot of times they were square, but these ones are clear. And that's just gonna hook right onto the front here like you'd expect it would. Here's another decal piece. As a car goes by, hopefully you can't hear that, but if you can, no big deal. That's a little decal piece that has, I guess, the fare on there, which is $13, and it's got the communication device on there so they could call in. And we're going to put that on there like that. Next is the hood piece, which again also has a decal. I believe it just says taxi on there. I like that because it definitely makes it look like it's a hood and it has some dimension to it when in reality it doesn't. But doesn't that look nice there? Nice going in there like that. We are getting down to the end. That was actually step 11. So we're on the final run here, and we've got the windshield on the front, and we've got the same windshield right there on the back. I kind of like these little low pro windshields. I remember, again, back in the day, they had the really tall ones, and they were kind of like that off blue color. If anybody's old school, you probably remember that if you grew up in the early 90s. I think that was late 80s, early 90s they had that. Here's the roof piece, which again you might not have, but you can definitely form something like that, and it's got a nice rounded appearance to it. And then we're going to put the taxi sign on top. You probably don't have that decal either, but you don't really need it to say taxi. And then the last thing, which I already have the tires on the wheels, we're just going to put all those on. Okay, and that is it. I'll do a quick spin around so you can see everything about this. I'm sure it probably came through pretty well during the build. If you want to take that off, you can put your character inside there. There's lots of space, especially for some of the minifigures. You need to take their headpiece off and put it back there, like the hair. I had to take Aunt May's hair off in order for her to fit inside here, and a couple other characters as well. And again, I just wanted to say that I don't make this video as a tutorial like it's my own creation. This certainly isn't mine. I just make it because I think people like making builds like this, and it makes it very easy when you can see a video, especially in real time like we did there, where someone builds it up and you can follow along. And again, this is a really cool build, and if you want to build a Lego taxi, this is a great model to go off of. Use basic pieces if you have them. If you have more complex ones, or even if it's not the colors that you want, just build it. Make it a part of your city. Have fun with it. It doesn't need to be perfect, but in my opinion, this build is about as close as you can get to a perfect Lego taxi. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check back soon. I'm going to have a lot more coming up here. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. I thank you again for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.